My brother went to prison for a crime I committed. I secretly started dating his girlfriend, and yes, I planned all of it. You can hate me. You probably will. But if I'm going to tell this story, I'm going to tell it honestly. Word for word. Lie for lie. Because yeah, I lied. I framed my own twin brother, and I got everything I wanted, including her. We're identical. That's the first thing you need to know. Same hair, same face, same height. For most of our lives, people couldn't tell us apart. Teachers, friends, girlfriends. That last one became a problem. His name's Evan. Mine's Caleb. He was the golden twin. Charming, athletic, funny. I was always the background noise. He got the attention, the praise, the love. I got compared to him, constantly. The only time I saw a shift was when he started dating Lila. She was quiet, beautiful in that girl next door way, smart as hell. I had a crush on. They were perfect. Too perfect. Until I found out his secret. The thing he kept even from her. Evan wasn't as clean as he looked. One night, I followed him. Just a gut feeling. He met up with two guys behind a bowling alley. There was cash, a small black bag, and a handshake. I didn't see what was inside. I didn't have to. I confronted him the next day. He told me it was nothing, just helping a friend out. But I saw fear in his eyes. I knew he was hiding something big. And that's when the idea came to me. The worst, most perfect idea. I waited 2 weeks. During that time, I got closer to Leela. Just checking in, I'd say. I know Evan's been acting weird. She'd nod. We started texting late, then calls. Then one night, she cried, said she didn't feel seen anymore. I didn't push it, not yet. Meanwhile, I started setting the trap. I took Evan's spare car key, copied it, waited until he had practice one evening. I drove to the same alley he had used, same hour, same hoodie, same everything. Only this time, I dropped a small bag in the dumpster, one I had filled myself. Just a trace amount, enough to matter legally. Then I made the call. Anonymous tip, black hoodie, red car, location exact. It took them 2 days to pull him over. His car, his bag, his prints. He looked stunned in court. He kept saying, "I didn't do this." No one believed him, not even Lila. He got 18 months. First offense, still a felony. Our mom sobbed at the hearing. I kept my face calm. Lila didn't call him after sentencing. She texted me though. I don't know who he is anymore. I told her I was there if she needed someone. A week later, I kissed her, and I didn't feel bad, not even a little. By the time Evan had been gone for 3 months, I had taken over his entire life. His room, his routine, his girlfriend. Leela and I weren't just hooking up. We were something real now. At least, that's what I told myself. She cried in my arms the first night we slept together. Not because of guilt, because she felt relieved. She said she hadn't realized how unhappy she'd been with Evan. I let her talk. I didn't correct her. I didn't say, "You're still with him. He's just in a cage." I told myself I was doing the right thing, that Evan had always taken what he wanted, and this time it was my turn. That he would have done the same if he had the chance. But late at night, when she was asleep next to me, I'd stare at the ceiling and wonder if I really believed that. Leela started leaving stuff at my place. Her hoodie, a book, a charger, pieces of her life integrating with mine. She asked once if it felt weird to be with her, given everything. I smiled and said, "No, you're exactly where you're supposed to be." Another lie. But she wanted to believe it, so she did. Meanwhile, Mom was unraveling. She tried to act normal, but she was drinking more, talking to herself in the kitchen. I caught her once holding Evan's soccer medal, crying like he was dead. I told her he made his choices. She just looked at me like she didn't recognize my face. Then came the letters. Evan started writing from prison. To me, to Mom, to Lila. I don't know what he wrote to her. She never showed me. But I know she started getting distant again. Quiet. I found her one night staring at her phone, crying. When I asked what was wrong, she just said, "I feel like I failed him." I hugged her, said nothing. But I was furious. He wasn't supposed to be reaching through bars. He wasn't supposed to still have power. So I wrote back. For the first time, I told him I forgave him. I told him I hoped he was learning something in there. I told him Leela was doing okay. I didn't mention we were together, but I signed it, your brother, Caleb. Not love, not miss you, just Caleb. One afternoon, Mom handed me an envelope, no return address. Inside was a photo. It was the three of us, Evan, me, and Leela, from a year ago. We were laughing, arms around each other. Someone had circled Leela's face in red ink. No note, no name. My blood ran cold. Someone knew. I didn't tell Leela about the photo. I didn't tell Mom. I burned it in the sink, then sat there and watched the ashes swirl like ghosts. After that, I started noticing things. A car parked too long outside the house. A classmate who used to ignore me, now smirking when I passed. My phone buzzing with no caller ID. The lie was cracking, but the worst part, I still didn't regret it. Not even a little. Not yet. The day Evan got out, it rained. Not a drizzle, a storm. The kind that drowns sound and soaks through your skin. Fitting, I thought. The sky knew what was coming. I found out from Mom. She didn't say much, just whispered, "He's coming home today." Her hands trembled on the kitchen counter. Lila was in the living room, scrolling through her phone like nothing was happening. But she knew. I could see it in the way she didn't meet my eyes. I went for a drive. No destination. My heart was thudding in my chest like I'd swallowed a ticking bomb. I replayed everything I'd done. The setup, the court, the letters, the kiss, her body, her voice, her tears, and I asked myself the question I'd been avoiding for a year. What if he knows? When I came back, Evan was already there, standing in the living room like a ghost. Same face as mine, but hollowed out. His eyes were sharper, his jaw tighter. Prison had carved pieces off him. I expected him to shout, swing, rage. But all he said was, "Hi." Leela froze. Mom cried. I stood in the doorway like I didn't belong in my own house. We ate dinner in silence. Evan asked nothing, said nothing. He just watched. I couldn't tell if he was waiting or baiting. That night, I couldn't sleep. Around 2 a.m., I heard a knock. "Evan, we need to talk." We sat in the garage. He lit a cigarette. He never used to smoke. He looked at me like someone doing math. Then he said, "You know what I learned inside? There are two kinds of liars. Ones who run and ones who confess." I said nothing. He continued. "The thing is, I had time to think, to remember, to replay. I kept wondering how they found the drugs, how they knew where I'd be, how my hoodie got blood on it when I never saw blood." My chest tightened. I figured maybe someone set me up, but no one had motive, except maybe a stranger. He flicked the ash. But then I remembered. My key was missing one day. My red hoodie was in the wrong drawer. And Lila, she stopped looking at me the same way, before I even got arrested. He looked up. "You." I didn't deny it. I didn't confirm it. We just stared at each other. Two mirrors, cracked from the inside. Then he laughed. Once, quiet, said, "You always wanted to be me. And now you are. Congratulations." And he walked away. The next week, Lila was gone. She left me a note. "I can't look at either of you without feeling sick." Mom stopped talking too. She moved in with her sister. I was alone, but free, or so I thought, until I got the second photo. It was me and Lila, from weeks ago, in bed, candid, unforgiving. On the back, in ink, "Now we're even," Evan's handwriting. And that's when I realized the game wasn't over. It had only just begun.